Yes. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to Omar Talks Football. And ladies and gentlemen, it is officially back, guys. Obviously, last week we didn't do a Blaugrana podcast due to some, obviously, a lot of stuff been happening, guys. Last week was Eid, the end of Ramadan, guys. So many stuff was going on. But y'all already know, man, every single week, your daily dose of the Blaugrana podcast with my boy, Barca Boy 103, episode 25. Brother, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I was just thinking now that when I go to Barcelona, I'm gonna miss even more podcasts. So gotta take them in while they're here for the inconsistent period.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, man. No, but we do need to have one live at the come now, man. Listen, you gotta have like, come on,
You know
bro.
what? You know what? Now that you mentioned that, we should definitely do one.
We should,
'Cause
man. We should. Like,
the internet in the stadium. Last time I was there in like 2023, the internet there was decent. It was strong enough to do a stream, so we might have to.
That's what I'm saying, man. Listen, if you can, hopefully it's on the derby day, right, against Espanyol, right? The first game of the come now, right? Maybe after the game, we'll probably just record something and just pull it out, man. It will be so sick, and you know what, right? But listen, big up to every single one of you guys. As usual, guys, I see you guys already in the building, guys. Big up to every single one of you guys. Make sure you guys smash the like button on your way in, and make sure you guys go subscribe, obviously, to Barca Boy, guys. But listen, obviously, man, we are here, right? We are here. See, it's, international break. Nobody really likes the international break. We're hoping, right? None of our players get injured, right? Hopefully, inshallah, right? We don't really get any injuries. It's just Spain. Like De La Fuente, the absolute fraud, the Haiwan. You know the word. You know the words. I know the words, man. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Listen, do not injure my players. Do not injure my players, you fraud. Okay, that's all I'm saying. But let's talk about the best team in Spain, the team that is lonely at the top, the team that's 4 points clear, the most relevant club in Spain right now. Because last week, man, a lot of beautiful stuff happened, man. We couldn't talk about the beautiful performance in the Champions League. Finally, a big game, a big performance in the Champions League, what we were asking for. We couldn't talk about that. But let's actually talk about the weekend game, right? A game we had to win, right? Before the international break. We were saying, listen, home game against Rayo Vallecano. It wasn't an easy game, right? It wasn't the most entertaining game. We thought we could win bigger. But 3 points is 3 points. We won the game by a goal to nil, courtesy of a Ronald Araujo goal. Performance wasn't really great, but it was one of those games where I was overlooking the performance and looking more at the result, right?
Yeah.
Because I was like, you know what? Now that the international break is coming, I would rather, let's just get the 3 points after the great performance I saw midweek. We did. We got the performance that we wanted, and we got the result. And, I could sit here and be critical, but I got to give credit where credit is due. Obviously, Rayo, last season, if you remember last season, we beat them 1-0 at the home game at the Montjuic. So, and they gave us a real game in that game, if you remember, right? So, Rayo have always been a problem for us, right? Both home and away, right? At home, away, they struggle against them. At home, they give us a game, right? Even though we do have a good record against them at home. But what do you think, Hafed, of the result, right? Getting the win wasn't the best game, but a result is a result and a win is a win. So what are you saying, bro?
Yeah, I thought the first half wasn't too bad. Just the issue with me in this game, which is a lot of the attacking transition, attacking intent, wasn't quite there. First half, Rafinha should have had a hat trick. I genuinely would bet money on him should have had at least a brace. We had that Lewandowski opportunity as well. So we were, doing okay, at least on the front foot in the first half. We didn't leak too many chances in the first half as well. Second half, we started off a bit slowly. It kind of felt like at this point you have to just survive. 2 p.m. kickoff for Barcelona tends to be a struggle over the past few years. I think the 3 early kickoffs we had before this, I think we lost them all. Remember last season, White Shores, Las Palmas, early kickoff, we lost that.
Yeah.
So there are scenarios. I guess this team just struggles to wake up early and play. I don't know, but that last 20 minutes is quite.
Come on, bro. We have to wait. We have to do the waking up, man.
Well, for them it's different, right? Because their whole routine is tailored to the game being at 9 p.m. at night, right? So when it's early, it does throw them off a little bit. But I thought the last 20 minutes we were under a lot of pressure. Thankfully, that guy missed that chance. I don't know who it was. I think it was Perez or something. JOAN Garcia, of course, winning us 3 points yet again. I thought the second half we had nothing really going forward whatsoever. I don't remember a chance we had in the second half. Like you mentioned, one of those games where you play poorly, but you had to get 3 points. We got our goal from a set piece. So to be fair, this is probably the best season I've seen Barcelona on set pieces. I remember when I used to watch earlier in my career as a Barca fan. We'd score like one corner a season, and like PK would score. I was like, oh, finally we score from a corner. And then Messi would score his free kick here and there. Right now we're being really effective on corners. I think Araujo has like 4 goals this season. We scored, of course, the free kick against Newcastle, the one Rafinha crossed, Jordan Martin to Bernal. So we've been quite effective on set pieces. So I respect it, especially if we're going to come up against Arsenal, hopefully in the semifinal of the Champions League. We're playing against set piece FCs. We're gonna have to come up clutch against them. But yeah, second 20 minutes, last 20 minutes was really, really poor. I thought Cancelo was doing god awful in defense, and but in the end, when you play poorly, you get 3 points, and that's what happened in this game for us.
100%. And you know what, right? Obviously, I would have wanted us to win, bigger and get a impact win like that, right? But yeah, like you mentioned, I feel like a lot of the players, they will kind of have that. Maybe they were a little bit tired from the performance in midweek, right? Because really, right, let's be real, right? I feel like in the game against Newcastle, the players really turned up and the players really played out of their skin. Especially like, we had a slow start in that game. Second half, we really picked it up, right? And I feel like, a lot of the players, they kind of came in this game on a hangover, right, from that performance, right? And, like you mentioned, it was a little bit disappointing. We didn't create a lot. The attack wasn't really looking good. And I mean all 3 attackers, not just the striker, but basically the attack was not really that good. Midfield didn't really do much. You understand what I mean, right? And we got to go from a set piece, which is actually very rare, like you mentioned. It's very rare. But then again, I'll be honest, I'm not surprised that it's rare because we don't start Araujo enough. That's the problem. Araujo is so good in the air, and it baffles me why the manager doesn't play him enough, right? Because look, I get it. People like to talk about Araujo's bozo moments, but I was saying this yesterday on a show I had here with Jonas and Jose, big up to Jose, and also what's his name, Weria, right? When I had these guys, and I was telling them, like, when you look at our defense, it's been our weakest link, right? It's been our weakest thing. Let's be real, right? All our defenders have had inconsistency this season, right? Maybe Eddie Garcia has been okay, but even Eddie Garcia has had like a moment of 2 where, you're like not good enough. You understand what I mean, right? And for me, when I look at Araujo, right, since everything, all the drama, the injuries and everything he's had to deal with, right, with the mental state and all of that, I feel like ever since he's returned, every time he's been called upon, he's been doing a good job. And that's why I'm like, well, we have to reward players when they're actually playing well. When Gerard Martin plays well, we play him. When Kobayashi plays well, we keep playing him. When Eddie Garcia has been playing well, we keep playing him. Like, at what point should we start giving Araujo an opportunity? You understand what I mean, right? And when you look at in set pieces, he is the biggest threat in set pieces. He is so good at set pieces, it's ridiculous. You understand what I mean, right? And he's been pretty good in the past few games. And I wanted to ask you this, right? For you, Hafid, right? Do you think that Araujo should be given a run of games in the starting 11 right now, from what you've seen in the last few games?
In big games, no. In these kind of games, like against Rayo, yeah, why not? I mean, he's on 300,000 euros a week for a reason. He's there to play. He is the captain of this team as well. He should be playing more regularly than not. I think in games like this, you have Espanyol in a few weeks, Celta Vigo at home. These are the games he should be playing in. Maybe you want to give him away against Atletico on the 3 times we play them in the next 10 days or so. But those are the games that I do expect him to play. So when I don't see him play, it's quite surprising. I think who did we play last weekend? Was it Sevilla where we beat them like 5-2? I don't think he started that game. I was quite surprised he didn't start that game as well. So those are the kind of games that I see him playing. We know that Araujo can do a job in anything but a big UCL game. So as long as you keep him away from that, I think he's definitely a useful player for this squad. Again, his build is quite good. I wouldn't say he's a Barca-esque center back, but he's definitely like a Premier League center back where he's good, he's well built, good pace, good defender, good in the air, can cause threat up front. But when you rely too much on him in terms of his actual ability, like on the ball, reading the game, tactical adjustments, that's where you see the vulnerabilities of Araujo's side of his game.
100%. And that's the problem when it comes to Araujo for me as well, right? But look, I'm gonna be real. I feel like a lot of defenders, right? They get like when they don't perform, right? They're punished, right? And then they're brought back. With Araujo, I don't know if maybe the manager just doesn't trust him at all, right? He just doesn't have any belief that this guy, because maybe it's because of kind of like what happened during obviously the Chelsea game. How he kind of took a hiatus. Maybe the manager's kind of looking at it and saying, "Well, man, I'm gonna be real. I don't think this guy's built for it. As good as he is, he's not built for the pressure. You understand what I mean, right? And I need like players who can thrive under pressure. When they're being criticized, they can take it and move on. You understand what I mean, right? And maybe that's the issue, right? But this raises a bigger question on the transfer window. You understand what I mean? Because we've seen, obviously, recently, right? We've been talking about it. We talked about like Marcos Anesi. He's the one that's been linked right in the back. But we've heard the big one, which is Alessandro Bastoni. Now, when it comes to the whole Bastoni thing, you've seen that apparently Inter are open to selling for around 70. I'm hearing 60. I'm hearing 50. Like I heard that Jonas was telling that George Moe on his channel was saying, around 60 million. They will accept around 60 million. And for me, I'm looking at that and I'm saying, well, what do we got to lose? You understand what I mean, right? If we can get a Bastoni for 60, and also, here's the thing, Hafid, right? I think that there's a way we can negotiate with Inter, because I feel like with Inter, if they sell Bastoni, they're gonna want to get another centre back. You understand what I mean, right? And I genuinely think a guy like Araujo would do well in Serie A.
Yeah.
For a team like Inter. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, if Barcelona want him gone, right? They feel like, for what Flick is trying to build, he's not it. Then why don't we just go and do a swap deal? Maybe give them some money. 20 million, something like that, 20, 30 million, right? Plus Ronald Araujo. I'm sorry, Inter Milan are not going to reject that. They're not going to reject it because you're selling your best defender, but also you're buying a defender who, when on his day, is one of the best in the world. And he's going to come into a league where basically it thrives on his strength. Like, and a club like Inter, who are a defensive team, they don't do the whole tiki-taka, pass the ball, dribble. They're not going to do that. You understand what I mean, right?
Exactly.
He's not going to be that at an Inter. I think, bro, at Serie A, bro, we could just see a different beast over there, right? Maybe in years we might look at him and be like, oh, should we have sold Araujo to Inter Milan? But I feel like, as far as the kind of defender we're looking for, Alessandro Bastoni kind of fits what we want, but also Araujo fits what Inter wants. And, this won't be the first time we've made a swap. We made a swap deal in the past with Eto'o and Ibrahimovic. And let's be real, they definitely got the biggest shot, the best end of the deal, because because Eto'o went there and won another treble for them, and Zlatan ended up falling out with Pep.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I mean? So they might look at it, and with history, what history has shown, they might consider it. But what do you think, man? Like, do you think that what would you say about that? Would you go all out for Bastoni in the summer? Or would you look at other players? Because I heard that Schlotterbeck is about to renew his contract with
Dortmund.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently there's going to be a release clause in that as well. I think Bastoni is one of the better options. The only thing I'm really worried about him is how he'll adapt to playing a 2 at the back. He's been playing a 3 at the back literally all his life as an Italian coming through the academy. So that's not really worried about him. I think in terms of the quality, the ability, the everything involved, I think it's remarkable. The kind of player that he is, I think that would suit us well. Would I give out Araujo? Absolutely yes. I don't think that will help us too much, but yeah, if we can give Araujo or as a deal, sure. We're going to give. It's kind of funny that Barcelona could be giving players to both our top targets. Maybe we'll talk about Julian in the stream, how we could get him. So it looks like we're just offering our fringe players to try and bring in these top players, but absolutely, I would do it. I think more so with his contract being until 2031, a lot of the power is going to be on Araujo's side. Barcelona can push him out and say this and that, but he has so many years left on his contract. So I see Araujo being kind of like that 5th choice center back heading into next season. I see Eric, Bao, new center back coming in, being ahead of him. Maybe even Jules Koundé if we make the right investments at fullback. Maybe we could see Koundé playing more centrally. So he might be that 4th, 5th choice option. Maybe the club are okay with that. But even so, him being on that kind of role on 300,000 euros per week is absolutely insane. So that's where the issue comes in. That Araujo has a lot of the powers. Of course, ideally we can say we can offer him here, there. I would, if you told me I had to personally spend my own money to fly to Barcelona to drive him to his new team, whether it's in Italy or England or whatever, I would do it. But in this kind of situation, a lot of the power is on the player side.
I mean, yeah, but I feel like also, but this is where I feel like it makes sense. I feel like a smart sporting director or someone that is smart with transfers will kind of figure it, it could be a win-win, right? That's why I use this whole swap deal thing as an option, because I think that when it comes to Inter, they will take Araujo, right, and some money for Barcelona. Maybe they would, don't get it twisted, right? They would want to get the most money for him, but let's be clear here. At the end of the day, right, if you sell him for 60, 70 million, if you sell him for that, right, you're still gonna have to go out and get a defender. You understand what I mean? You're still gonna have to find a replacement. But at least with this, you can still get a very talented player and get some money for him. You understand what I mean? And who knows? Who knows? This guy could go there and he could be a huge upgrade on Bastoni. And that's my point. So they have a lot to gain from this, right? And I feel like that's something our sporting director, the person that we pay every week, right? The guy who's getting paid for it, like, he has to be smart on this. Because imagine you sell Araujo, a player that you don't want, right? And then get for 20 million, bring in a top defender that you actually do want, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, with all of that amalgamation, now you've spent only 30 million in the transfer, and then you've got a world-class defender. Now you can go and focus on other positions. You can maybe go get another center back, maybe get a fullback, maybe get another attacker like a striker. Put more, maybe it's more money on some of that money that you might have kept for a center back on the attack.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I mean? So I feel like there's so that's what I mean. I feel like that's a smart way we can definitely do that. But you're looking at the fullback positions, right? Recently, we've seen that Grimaldo has been linked again to Barcelona. Now, I was having this conversation yesterday with some of the Barca guys, like I mentioned, right? And a lot of them were saying, some of them were like, they don't want, they would sell Alejandro Balde. Now, I'm under this opinion of, well, we don't really need to. Like, he's only 22, right? And that's the thing with him, right? Balde is still a young player. He still has a lot of years to grow, man. That's why I feel like it's good. That's why I want some competition, real competition for him. And that's why I feel like the Grimaldo thing, it makes sense, because Grimaldo is in his 30s now. Like, he's not going to be a long-term competition for him, but he will definitely be a competition right now. Right? Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm looking at him. I'm like, go get. I would go get him, and I don't think he's going to cost that much. What would you do in that situation? Would you risk it and get a Grimaldo at his age, or do you think that the competition will help?
I've been very much an advocate about Balde's career at Barcelona, where his best has been is when he had competition with him. I think the fullback position for Barcelona will be very, very interesting to see how things do play out. Of course, we could end up maybe keeping Cancelo as well if the deal is very cheap in terms of him, in terms of Al Hilal letting him go for free. The report for Ronaldo mentioned that Barcelona see Xavi Espart, Jules Koundé, and Eric Garcia as their right backs, which is you have one natural option there. For me personally, if I could do anything, I'd have Cancelo and Xavi Espart, Koundé, whoever for right back. I would bring in Ronaldo and have Alejandro Balde at left back. I agree with Balde. I wouldn't sell him. I think it's 100% correct and justified to say that he is no longer untouchable. If a good offer comes in, 60 million, 50 million, the club will analyze it, and that should be a fact. What he's done this season, what he's done without competition. Yes, last season he was great, but the whole entire team was great. Even look at the season prior to that where he was poor. This season as well, he had one good game against Elche, and that was it. And that game was, middle of January? So I have no problem. Of course, we're not pushing him out. I wouldn't push him out. We're not forcing to sell him. We're not going to send him to the stands. So it's not like that. If a good offer comes in that reaches his evaluation, maybe a little extra, and that way Barcelona can use that money to go sign someone else, they will consider it. They're not even saying that, if a good offer comes in, we'll accept. They're saying if a good offer comes in, we will analyze it. So we'll see if it will be worth it to sell him. Will this play that we bring in on a similar price or cheaper worth the upgrade, whatever the case may be. And the same thing is happening with Jules Koundé as well. That came out a few days ago too, where the club have said, look, if a good offer comes in, we'll talk about it. If not, it's not like a penny where someone can offer $1 billion, we'll say, get out of our face, or get out of our face, whatever the case may be. I think honestly, someone comes in and bids $100 million for Rafinha, the club will probably accept it.
Because and I wouldn't even blame him. Let's be real.
Yeah, me neither. So that's the same thing with Balde. So I think Barcelona have the first chance in a very, very long time to really, really bolster the fullback position. You can keep Cancelo if you want to, ship Casado, or maybe keep Cancelo for free. You're bringing Grimaldo, who will cost you a guaranteed under 20 million euros. Yes, he's 31. Still can give you a few good years. You have Balde, who has world-class potential, still very young, can still grow. You have Koundé on the right-hand side as well. You have Xavi Spark coming through. There's a really, really, really good opportunity for Barcelona to really make our defense absolutely world-class. We're even in talks to sign Alex Ramiro to be our second-choice goalkeeper, which I think is a really good option.
And Cambiaso from Juventus.
Cambiaso is a fan. Oh my God, Cambiaso would be sensational. I think he's
when I saw that one, that was the one where I was like, yo, yeah, but we're ambitious.
There's no way. There's no way.
That's why I said ambitious, man. Because I'm gonna be real. That one's a lit. That could be
there's no way we can afford. Yeah, there's no way we can afford a Cambiaso, a Bastoni, and then a striker. There's no way. So that's
imagine, bro. Like, bro, Deco, give Deco the key to the city if he actually.
Hey, look at this, man. We have financial freedom, and now Deco's cooking. All you Deco haters.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Listen.
Wait until the summer ends.
No, listen. I will have to have I would genuinely need to. Listen, I'll hold my hands up. I'll give him all the praises in the world. I'll call my man Don Deco if he was to do that, bro. Like, seriously.
But
because I might actually be okay. You know what? Maybe he didn't have some money. Because listen, when he's gonna give him the money, he's actually cooked. All right, man. Let him cook, man. Like, let him cook. Let my man cook, man. He's cooking something right now. I can smell it, man. I can smell the good recipe right now. But hey,
I want to know. I want to know. I don't know if it's your show. Of course, I'll let you run it. But I wonder if you want to. I want to kind of name our best defense and see where we can. I want to name like who we have as our first choice goalkeeper, second, third, our starting right back, backup right back, our 4 or 5 center backs, and our left back. I want to see if we're aligned. For me personally, in goal, I'd have JOAN GARCIA. I'd have backup Alex Ramiro. Third goalkeeper, I have Szczesny. I think Szczesny is a good player to have in the background, like Scott Carson has at Man City. He's on very low wages. No point paying him $2 million to send him away. So we can pay him $2 million this summer. That will terminate his contract unilaterally. I don't think that's the point. That means I would sell Ter Stegen, Inaki Peña, Astralaga, and then with Jakubečvili, I'll try and sell him and maybe retain a lot of his future, like a percent of future sale. Right back, I would have. Ideally, I would have Cancelo and Xavi Espart as the default options, right?
Okay.
Of course, I have Eric Garcia at center back. I had Koundé at center back, but of course, play at right back as well. Maybe even Cancelo and Koundé. That way, I can send Xavi Espart on loan, maybe get him some first team minutes. You of course have Hector Fort coming back on loan from Elche as well. I would probably. He, of course, did not play the second half of the season because he dislocated his shoulders. He's been out for the whole half of the season. So I'd probably send him out on loan again and give him another opportunity. I still rate him. So I'm a bit biased. I do rate Hector Ford very highly. So I would do that. And again, with Hector Ford, we're going on loan another year. You keep Cancelo for one more year in his prime. That when he leaves next summer, you can bring in Hector Ford, right? So I'd keep those two. At center back, I would have Pau Cubarsí, Eric Garcia. You have Koundé as an option as well. I'd bring in a new center back, so Bastoni, whoever that is. And then one of Araujo and Christensen. One of them I would keep. Just have that fifth choice option.
I personally keep Christensen if he can stay fit.
Of course. But I'm just saying, being realistic, I would keep one of them. Of course, Araujo has a long contract, big money, so it would be hard to get rid of him. Christensen would be way easier. We've already officially offered Christensen a renewal.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Yeah,
and he's not answered yet, so that's on him.
I don't know. I feel like maybe he's kind of looking at it and just asking if he deserves it. Because sometimes footballers, they go through this, man. They go through injuries and then they start asking themselves, do they really deserve to be there? And maybe that's what he's going through. We don't know.
And then my sixth choice center back would be Gerard Martin. And then at left back, I'd have Balde and Grimaldo. So that's my ideal defense. You're probably thinking there's a lot of people there, but the reality is that you have people that can play in other positions. Cancelo and Eric can go in the pivot. But don't forget, it's a World Cup summer. So players are going to come back. They're going to come back tired, especially if hopefully for Barcelona's benefit, Spain or whatever go far. And, the players are going to be coming back very, very late as well. So you're going to need an important squad that we've seen now in the Club World Cup, how Chelsea and PSG that both went to the final struggled a lot in the first half of the season with injuries. So you're going to need that depth to be very, very important, especially in that August, September, October period. Like the World Cup ends middle of July and the season starts beginning of August, right? So you have like 2-3 weeks at the absolute most. And players need to rest. We need to be able to rotate, give them that necessary time that they can rest. That way they don't have to suffer with any injuries as well. So you have about, 6 to 5 center back options. You got, 2 fullbacks on each side. You got your 3 goalkeepers as well. I think for me, that is the most ideal option for Barcelona. So who would you sell on paper in that case? It'd be one of Andreas Christensen or Araujo leaving. I'd be very happy and open to selling Jordan Martin as well if someone wants to come in.
Yeah, for the right offer, yes.
For the right offer.
And that's the thing. Some of these players that you just mentioned, right? A lot of them, I think that your defense in general, I do agree with. Like, we've seen like obviously the links of Alex Ramiro, right? And I think that would be an amazing backup to have, right? If we were to be able to have him, like honestly, if we signed him, he would be my Copa del Rey. I would play him in a Copa like he would be a main backup, right? So in the Copa del Rey, I'll trust him every game. Like I'm not gonna play JOAN GARCIA in the Copa del Rey. I'll have him because I think that he's a very capable keeper. You understand what I mean, right? Very capable. Like I'm really surprised when I heard that he was happy to be the backup. I'm like, yo, you're actually a good keeper. Like he's actually a very good keeper. And
he's all right. He's all right.
No. I'm not saying he's world class. There's a difference.
Yeah.
You can be good. Like when you look at Madrid, they have Lunin. I don't think Lunin is world class, but Lunin is a very capable keeper. You understand what I mean, right? When you got Courtois injured, you can always rely on Lunin. And that's how I look at Ramiro. I'm like, well, if we were to ever lose JOAN GARCIA to injury, I could look at Ramiro and be like, okay, well, you can cover. I trust you to cover for him. You understand what I mean, right? To cover for him. And yeah, for you, as far as that is concerned, I think those two, if we were able to have JOAN GARCIA and Ramiro as our goalkeepers next season, for sure. I think Szczesny is probably going to retire again at the end of the season. That's the likeliest thing for me, right? I don't know. I feel like maybe he might be happy to stay another year.
Why would Szczesny be tired? He just smokes all these. Played like 4 games.
That's my point, right? Listen, that's what I'm saying. Like my guy's basically retired and with a wage. So at the end of the day, he probably don't mind, right? And you mentioned Ter Stegen and Iñaki Peña. Yeah, they get those frauds out of my club, right? We already know, right? This right back, I do agree with. I think Xavi Espar, he's been impressing me every game. And I think that, next season he needs to be part of the first team. You understand what I mean, right? He needs to be part of the first team, right? And Cancelo, 100%, I'll keep him. I've said this before. I think that, you can tell
for the right price, of course.
For the right price. All right. And we're going to talk about that because that's actually another thing I'm going to get into, right? But because we've seen, apparently El Hilal, they are apparently interested in one of our players. And we might use that to our advantage. Maybe get some money, but also get Cancelo as part of the deal. You understand what I mean, right? We're going to talk about it. I'm going to ask your thoughts on that. But Cancelo, for sure, keep him, right, with the Xavi Espar. I think that Xavi Espar will learn a lot also from having a Cancelo on that side. Having Balde, I would keep him because he's like young and, have that competition with Grimaldo. Grimaldo is an academy graduate, right? You always love to see some of our players coming back, and I think it's great. A 31-year-old like him, experienced, invincible at Leverkusen. So he's definitely got experience of winning, right? The defense, I definitely agree with. Right? I think that the defense is the way you mentioned this, right? But one thing I will say is, for me, I don't think one center back is enough. I'll go get 2. Now, hear me out. I would go get a Bastoni for sure, a Bastoni profile, but also go get me a player like Senesi, who is experienced. You understand what I mean? Like an experienced head. Like I'm gonna be real. I feel like we need like a Inigo Martinez-esque player as far as experience is concerned, because that's what the big problem with this defense is, in my opinion. Right? I think we have a great defense, but this defense is very inexperienced, and you can see it. I feel like we need experienced heads in the back, and we have Bastoni, who's experienced, but also have an experienced head in Senesi. You have a lot of experience in the back, right? To learn for Kobashi, Martin, and all these guys to learn from. You understand what I mean, right? The pressure is going to be less on them, even though they are the future. Like a Kobashi, right? He can definitely be more calm of being next to Bastoni.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean, right? Being next to Senesi, because those guys will be the ones basically, go dictate.
Who would you get rid of then? Because you can't have like 9 center backs.
Personally, for me, that's why it comes down to what we offer we get in the summer. Because I think that with the way Jordan Martin is playing, I would keep him. But then again, we might get a good offer for him for how good he's been this
Bro,
season.
I
Right? No.
I would get rid of him so easily, man.
That's my point. That's why I said it. I can see, because remember last season, Brighton and Wolves were looking at Gerard Martin. So I'm looking at him like, well, how do we know they might come back again this summer?
AC Milan apparently want him. I don't know what they're.
That's my point. And you know, they would offer back. If they offer us 35 to 40 million, I would sell them. I'm gonna be real. I would sell them. And also, here's the funny thing, right? Football is a funny sport. Bro, we can put a buyback clause in there. We can say, okay, cool. If he goes to an AC Milan and he actually cooks over there, he actually does way better than even we expect, we might look in the future and be like, hey, you know what? It wouldn't be a bad idea to bring him back in the future. When he's, maybe when some of our other defenders are gone and there's more space, bring him back. You understand what I mean, right?
Yeah.
And also Araujo, yeah, I would add Araujo in the deal for Bastoni. So that's how I how I look at it, right? Give him Araujo, we'll get Bastoni with some money, right? And now you got rid of Araujo, so one of the defenders is gone, and when you've replaced him with another defender, right? Christensen, I don't know, man. Like if he leaves, and that's just more space in the back. So yeah, the defense for me, I feel like we both agree. I think the way you set up your defense and me, we're very similar. You understand what I mean, right? Except for the fact that I would go for two defenders, right? But let's actually talk about, and listen, before I continue, big up to every single one of you guys, man. We got over 93 people in the building, man. Listen, smash the like button, you absolute legends, man. Big up to every single one of you guys. Listen, this is the best podcast. Blaugrana Podcast. You will not see another Barcelona podcast better than this one, man. So make sure you guys smash the like. Big up to all the people who are doing the super chats, man. I do see a lot of your super chat. Let me start reading your super chat. We got 2 of them already. Big up to the man like Rex. Big up to you, brother. Say, what's up, guys? Miss sending super chats, sending kisses. Appreciate you, man. Big up to you every single time, man. Thanks for the super chat, my brother. Big up to my guy, the real football fix. Big up to you. Says, Omar, what's up, man? This is JJS. This is JJ. Well, like sometimes, man, I'll be struggling with this. This is JJ. Well, just like I said yesterday, I created this. Oh yeah, YouTube. Oh yes. I remember this dude. I think this is the same dude who said he was gonna create a YouTube channel to cook man like Jonas. Because I'm not gonna lie, Jonas was moving fraudulent yesterday on the chaos. Yeah, he was moving fraudulent, man. But listen, if you open your channel, let me know. I'll bring you to the channel and you can do that debate. We will get that big debate with Jonas. Don't worry about it, man. But big up to you, man. Appreciate you for the super chat. Big up to every single one of you guys who are here, man. We're gonna continue this. But listen, let's actually continue, right? Because we just talked about, before we go, because I think next we're gonna talk about the midfield, right? We just talked about like how you pick it. Let's actually talk about this midfield, and that kind of caveat goes to like the defense and the midfield, because take a look at this. This is the big news that's come out, right? Like an hour or 2 hours ago, right? This is the big talk right now. We know that Barcelona, apparently, they want to keep him, right? We want to keep Cancelo. Apparently, the manager now has given the okay. He said, yeah, he wants Cancelo to stay, right? But Al Hilal, they're asking for money. They're saying that they want around 20 million for Cancelo, right? That's what they're asking for. But this is the big news that's come out. Basically, Marc Casado could be key to this move because Al Hilal are showing interest. Basically, says Al Hilal interested in Casado and could facilitate a deal. They've already tried to sign him in the winter, but both player and Hansi Flick refused. Cancelo is valued at 15 million with 1 year left in his contract, while Barcelona want at least 20 million for Casado. Now, here is the thing, right? Before you go, the way I kind of see this is like this, right? First of all, Cancelo has 1 year in his contract. 1 year. And I'm going to be very honest, man. 20 million, I think that Casado, for a player like Casado's talent, we could get more for him. I'm not saying we could get 50, 60. No. I'm sorry. Casado, a player of Casado's talent, we can get at least 30 to 35 million minimum for him. Because he is that talented. This brother, he's talented. Well, we know that Atletico Madrid were trying to sign him. I think that if he went to Atletico, he would cook over there. He would absolutely cook over there. So for me, I'm looking at them like, bro, I'm gonna be real. Al Hilal, y'all have money, man. Y'all moving fraudulent here. I'm sorry. We would get Cancelo. We could add Cancelo in the deal, but you need to offer us some money. You guys we know you have the money. right? For me, minimum, I would if they want him, I would go minimum 40 million. Minimum 40 million and plus Cancelo, because Cancelo is already on 1 year left in his contract, so he's not. He wants to join Barca. So just add him there, give us 40 million, and we can actually agree on that. Now, what do you think? Because we know that Cancelo, we know Casado is one of those players who might be surplus to requirements in the summer because of how our midfield depth is.
I think our midfield is perfect. I wouldn't touch it whatsoever. Unless there's someone that wants to leave or we get a huge offer, I think our midfield is perfect. You have, of course, Fermin, Olmo in the 10. You have in the pivot, you have options like Pedri, Gavi now coming back, Bernal, Frankie de Jong, Casado. You have also Eric Garcia that can play there. Maybe even Cancelo if you end up keeping him. I personally love Casado. I think him as a 6th choice midfield option is fantastic. Just like Szczesny is as a 3rd choice goalkeeper, just like Gerard Martin or Araujo at the 5th or 6th choice center back, they're really good options to have. We've seen Casado come up big in this season, except for maybe Atletico Madrid away in the semifinal first leg. Apart from that game, I thought he's been great this season. If he wants to leave, I would let him go because, again, he's going to be playing 6th choice. He will barely play in a season, but if he's happy being a squad player, helping us improve and train, stuff like that, I would keep him. When it comes to Cancelo, I think Al Hilal asking for 15 million for him is scandalous. Absolutely ludicrous. He's on 300,000 euros a week with 1 year left on his deal, and they're asking for 15 million when they paid 20 million 2 seasons ago or 1 season ago, whatever it was, to get him from City. If Cancelo isn't for free, I wouldn't go for him. I love Cancelo. He's giving us a season and a half on loan memories. But if he ain't for free, I ain't getting him. I wouldn't even pay a million. Maybe I would pay a million. I wouldn't pay more than €1 million transfer fee for Joan Cancelo. And I'm being genuine. You have options like Grimaldo,
for his age, for sure.
You have options like Grimaldo that will provide more depth to us long term for cheaper than 15 million euros. I think Al Hilal are moving crazy. So that's what I would say to Cancelo. Unless he's staying for free, they'll just give up. They'll give up, like Salah just announced that he's going to leave Liverpool. He gave up the last 2 years of his contract to be able to leave for free. I expect Al Hilal to do the same with Cancelo. Hey, it's either we let him go to Barcelona for free or we pay him 300,000 euros per week for another whole year. That probably comes out to 15 million, 10 million salary alone. So that's just stupid. So personally for me, if they want Casado, sure, they can bid the 30, 40 million. I think he's worth it. If Casado wants to go, I'd let him go 100%. But maybe I'll expect in return from Al Hilal to give us Cancelo for free or for super cheap. But paying any transfer fee for Cancelo is crazy, in my opinion.
I agree. This is why I said the only way I would entertain this is if they want, because they're going to have to offer us. We are not offering anything, especially if you guys want Casado. You're going to have to offer us money and a good amount of money. I'm not saying like a 20 million, something like that plus Cancelo. No. I'm sorry, we're not. And you just mentioned it. I think Cancelo is good. But here's the thing. Respectfully, Cancelo is not world class. Cancelo is a capable fullback.
Look, man, having him as an option as second choice fullback, both right back and left back is crazy. We saw how
I know he's extremely valuable. That's why I would keep him. But then again, we can't be moving dumb in the window though. We can't be like,
look what he did against Newcastle and the 2 goals that we conceded as well.
That's what I'm saying.
The problem is if you have injuries and he's playing in these high level games, he's low key like an Araujo 2.0 in Champions League moments. Even under Xavi, he had them in certain games as well, whether it was Napoli or PSG. I think especially in the PSG game, he should have given, that was a penalty, that tackle on Mbappe, but it wasn't given somehow, especially with VAR. So that you cannot rely upon him long term. He's the starter now because Balde is injured. When Balde comes back, I expect some competition. Hopefully Balde can regain his spot long term. But for a player like Cancelo, who's I think 33 years old, let me just check his age real quick. He only has maybe 1 or 2 years left at the top level. He's 31. Yeah. He's 32 in a month. So in a month, he turns 32.
Yeah, he's 32. He's 32 this year.
So he has maybe a year, maybe 2 if you're lucky. So it's a great option to have. I think he's a world class. He was a world class player. Is he world class right now?
But he's a top class.
Is he world class right now? Probably not. But he's been playing at a world class level this past month. So. Again, I think it's a player worth keeping. I just saw a report now from Mundo Deportivo saying that Cancelo wants to stay at Barcelona at all costs. So from his
that's a no-brainer, bro. That's a no-brainer. He rejected more money to go to Inter to return to Barca. If that doesn't scream a player that wants to stay or actually, bro, this guy has never hidden his love for Barca. Even when he was at Al Hilal, when they played Real Madrid in the Club World Cup, he said, bro, when I was playing in this game, I just imagine I was wearing the Barca shirt because I'm a Barca fan. Like you could tell, man. Like every time he plays Real Madrid, he always remembers. Like this guy cares. You even saw when he scored. Which game did he score? He scored recently. Who did he score? Was it against Levante? No, it wasn't. Was it? Who did we play? Was it the Sevilla game where he scored? And you saw the celebration. The celebration said it all, man. The guy, you can tell, man, he loves the club. He wants to be here. You understand what I mean, right? And we want him here. Like he is definitely, and that's my point. I want players that want to play for the badge. I want players that want to play for this team. You understand what I mean, right? It's not always about young player, this and this and this. I want players that understand what it means to wear the shirt. No, never underestimate. This is why most of the time our academy players play so well. Because, dude, you're getting an opportunity to play for Barca freaking Lona, bro. Do you understand just wearing the shirt at the Camp Nou, what it means? Like you are stepping in the same turf as Messi, as Ronaldinho. As Cruyff. That is where you are. And a lot of players, they don't value that. Some players, they definitely do. And guys like Cancelo's, they know what it means to wear the Barca shirt. So that's why I'm like, listen, I would keep him. But like you mentioned, man, we can't be moving dumb in the transfer window, though. I'm not gonna sit there just because he is such a valuable player in what he can bring to the team that we're just going to be dumb in the transfer window and offer these guys something that he doesn't deserve, respectfully, right? So we have to be the smart ones here. Deco needs to be smart. If they want Casado, they can't be sitting there like, well, if you guys want Cancelo, we want Casado, we're willing to offer you this. No, Casado has more potential and more to offer long term than Cancelo, respectfully. So if we're gonna get a deal, y'all gonna have to offer us something good plus Cancelo. That's the only way we're gonna negotiate here. If not, then there will be no negotiation.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's that simple for me. So yeah, that's how I look at this. But when you look at the midfield, like you mentioned, our midfield is our strongest strength. Like our midfield is ridiculous, right?
I wouldn't touch it generally unless someone bids like 3,000 bajillion euros for Fermin Lopez. Like I wouldn't.
I mean, I wouldn't sell. There's some players are untouchable. Like obviously the Pedris are untouchable. I wouldn't sell. For me, like you mentioned, like apparently I've been hearing that United are looking at they're looking at Fermin. Like, bro, the only way I'm even entertaining that idea for me 90 million, and that's bare minimum 90 million. Like, bro, Fermin Lopez is like, you could tell every season this dude is becoming more and more and more irreplaceable in this team. What he offers in the midfield, I said before, the reason why I wouldn't, and this is since last season, by the way. You remember when Chelsea made a bid in deadline? And I was saying, bro, I don't care. I'm not selling him for anything less than 70 million. And everyone was like, what, 70 million? I'm like, guys, I don't think you really understand. No one in the midfield plays like Fermin. It's like Pedri. Like, you know, when we talk about Pedri being the Fermin is the same. Fermin is a special kind of midfielder that we don't have. He is the most attacking man in the midfield. Like, when he's on the pitch, it's like having 4 attackers. You understand what I mean, right? He goes forward. He shoots. That's why I said this since last year. I made the comparison. I said, bro, he is our Frank Lampard. He is Barcelona's Frank Lampard, bro. You can tell every time this guy's on the pitch, he always wants to score. He always wants to shoot. He always wants to be in the box. He always wants to be that extra attacking threat. So for me, absolutely not, right? We need to be offered some ridiculous amount of money, right? And I'll be honest, even guys like the Omos and all these guys, right? You guys are gonna have to offer us money. But the only player that I look at in midfield, honestly, that I'm like, maybe the club would be open to selling is Casado. I think that Casado is the one that out of all the players, because Gavi is just returned from injury. I don't see any club trying to sign him. Absolutely not, right? The rest of the other players, like, you know, the Omos of the world, you know, I know a lot of Barca fans, they have their opinions on him, but Omo, he is another one that offers something different, and that's why, like, it works with these two, Fermin and Omo, because they're not doing the same job when they're on the pitch. You understand what I mean, right? One is more of an orchestrator, more of a 10. And Omo, he plays more like a 10. Fermin plays more like a second striker most of the time. So yeah, for me, that's what I've seen. Big up to King. King has just mentioned it. He said that. What do you think about what he said? He said we need Tchouaméni, Casado, basically a Caicedo or Tchouaméni, Caicedo type tractor player. What do you say? What are you saying to this?
It would be nice, but I don't think that's required for the way that we play. It's not like we're playing in a 4-3-3 where you have a single pivot, right? So I think it would be nice to have, but I think that Dion can do that. I think that Bernal can be able to do that. But I don't think it's really something that we're desperate for.
No, I hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but listen, guys, keep smashing the likes. We only got 22 likes in here, guys. How we have almost 83 people, only 22 likes? That is Ferran Torres levels of conversion, man. Like, come on, man, you absolute frauds, man. Come on, smash the likes, man. You guys are getting entertained. You guys, I see you guys in here, man. I see a lot of you guys in here. So you guys clearly are liking the stream, guys. So make sure you guys smash the like button, guys. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and subscribe to Barca Boy as always. But look, for me, like you just mentioned, that is what I think. But speaking of Ferran Torres, let's go to the attack. Look, man, I've seen something this morning, when I was looking at Barca Universal and Barca Times, they were basically saying that apparently the opinion in the club now is kind of been sour on Ferran. I feel like his form now, it's kind of like made a lot of like the people in the club not have any hope in him. No confidence at all, right? The big talk now apparently is that we're even like the club actually are thinking more about keeping Lewandowski than keeping Ferran. Like Lewandowski, like a backup to whoever the striker is next season, if we do sign a striker, like most likely, right? And I'm gonna be very honest, I hear it. Now, let's talk about the attack, right? So obviously, attackers are obviously Rafinha, Yamal, Lewandowski, Ferran Torres, Rashford, Ronnie Bagdaji, right? What you just mentioned there, like over like 6 players. Now, which of the players, obviously, that are untouchable and those that you'd be open to selling? For you?
I'd be open to selling Ferran Torres, obviously. But the rest of the team is kind of, not really sellable. You don't want to sell Lamine, you don't want to sell Rafa. No one's going to come in and pay money for Lewandowski. No one's going to really come in and offer anything but maybe a loan for Rooney and Rashford we don't own. From the club's perspective, the club have said now their plan is to keep Lewandowski up front, to bring in Julian Alvarez, sell Ferran Torres, keep Lamine and Rafinha, keep Rooney, and then for Rashford, they want to keep him on the cheap. If they can't keep him on the cheap, they're going to let him go back on low, let him go back to Manchester United, and then sign another winger. The wingers we've been linked with is Jan Verdili, Mallorca, Abdi from Betis, Pedro Neto from Chelsea. So those are the few that we've been linked. Benfica one as well. I forget his name, like starts with an S. So that's kind of Barcelona's plan. And for me personally, I don't mind it whatsoever. I think Rashford's a good player. If you can get him on the cheap, that's great. Apparently, the issue is not the transfer fee. The transfer fee is 30 million euros. The club think that's fair for Rashford's value. It's justifiable. The issue is his wages, because right now he earns 350,000 euros per week. We're currently paying him.
Where? Barcelona?
No, that's his contract. That's what his contract is worth at Manchester United. So he earns 350 a week. Right now he earns 280 at Barcelona. So he cut that a little bit for the loan to happen, stuff like that. And he's gonna cut his salary more to about 200,000. That's still a lot. 200,000 a week for a backup winger, essentially. But you are paying for the profile of Rashford, what he brings to the team on and off the pitch.
No club is gonna offer him that.
No clubs will offer him that, but the issue is if Barcelona they think it's worth it, because apparently in terms of FFP, with the long-term plans of the summer, we can't really do that. Bring Bastoni, Alvarez, do this, all that. So that's where the finickiness comes in, because of the loan deal. Apparently, they have to amortize the transfer more. So that's the frustrating part. Someone there mentioned that Benfica winger I was mentioning.
Yeah, you just mentioned it. Big up to Kula. He just mentioned it. What would you do in this? Because you just mentioned Vigili in the Rashford. What would you do? I
personally would keep Rashford if we can. The reason why is that we need experience in this team. I am sick to death of all this just young, under 20-year-old FC. You need some experience. Or you have Rooney on the right-hand side who's very young. So you need some experience in this team, right? So I'd keep Rashford if the deal makes sense. Like I mentioned, you want to do a second loan deal, get him for cheaper than 30 million, whatever it may be. If you can keep him on a fairly good deal, no problem whatsoever. He has 20 GA this season. He's proved me enough that yes, if we can make the deal happen, I would keep him. The issue is if the deal becomes worth it or not. Up front with Lewandowski and Julian, love it. Absolutely. I've been saying this on the channel that I've been saying this during the winter international break with you and Volume, everyone, that I personally would keep Lewandowski and let Ferran Torres go and bring in a striker. The only issue with that is that if Lewandowski does stay, He's still gonna stay for one more season. Maybe. I don't think so, but maybe like 1% chance.
Depends on
But here's the
Omar.
Here's the issue. Next summer, you're gonna be back in for another striker. So we're gonna sign a striker this summer.
But we're gonna be, if we sign a striker this season, okay. So if we sign, let's say we sign, I don't want to sign him, but let's say we sign Alvarez.
Yeah.
Right. If we sign Alvarez, then now we've signed a main number 9, which means that next season we're just gonna have to look for a backup number. And also, most importantly, we've seen players in the academy like the Tony Fernandez's who have been scoring a lot of goals, banging a lot of goals in the academy. We don't know how good these guys are gonna be. Right, we don't know how the Egyptian player we just signed recently when he's going to be given an opportunity. You understand what I mean, right? Some of these guys, they might make good backups. We might see in the 26-27 season, one of these 2 players maybe makes the jump in the first team where Flick maybe plays them here and there, and maybe puts them in the 18-man squad in certain games, and maybe gives them some game time here and there. And they might come in and they can start scoring goals. Maybe not pleasant amounts of goals, but if they can get 1 or 2 or 3 goals, you understand what I mean, right? Where they're showing that their finishing is there. They can be relied upon from the bench to always come in and be a problem. Kind of, how Frank Garcia kind of, broke into the scene last season, right? When Gonzalo Garcia, right? Where he was like a youngster, right? Who was just given an opportunity, but he started scoring goals here and there. And he actually showed, okay, well, maybe this guy we can give him some more game time since he clearly knows where to find the back of the net, right? If we can get a backup like that from the academy, it's good. Then we now all of a sudden now we don't really have to focus on getting a backup. You understand what I mean, right?
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you. For me, when it comes to the striker role, right? I'm not confident on Alvarez anymore. I'm not.
Anymore.
I was. No. So I'll be the first to admit. I'm not. Obviously, I'm human. I get things wrong. I was one of the people that was saying, right, long-term wise, we should go get Alvarez. I think Alvarez, right, the kind of player that he wasn't a top-class striker as far as goal scoring was concerned. He was never that. But I liked his link-up play. I liked the fact that, he always seemed to play well with the attackers around him. And I was like, well, with Barca, we know that most of the time, our number 9s are not just goal scorers. They're great at link-up. Suarez was great at link-up. Villa was great at link-up. Eto was good at link-up. These guys were goal scorers, don't get it twisted. But they were great at link-ups. You understand what I mean, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like with Alvarez, he's a typical profile of what we want our strikers usually to be. We don't just want a lamppost in attack. You understand what I mean, right? That's why most of the time Fernando has been getting a lot of criticism. Because if he wasn't scoring, but he was still doing well to link up with Yamal all the time, right? Pushing, moving, like being in good position where he's putting defenders away from these guys like the Rafinhas and the Yamals for them to get more space in the box. If he was doing that, we would be like, well, listen, he's still showing his value even though he's not scoring. You understand what I mean, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the problem, right? When you look at like Alvarez, that's why I said I wanted Alvarez. But I'll be honest, his performance this season, I don't know how, but people have really, really, really not been noticing that this brother has been having a bad season. He has been awful this season. Like, he went like, I think 2 months without scoring. Like, that's the crazy thing. I'm like a Barcelona, bro. You go 2 months. If you're a striker and you get 2 months, bro, you are getting absolutely fried. By not just the fans, the media, everybody's going to be on your case. And I'm like, bro, I don't want that. I don't want my striker going missing, man. I want a striker that can get me goals, get me link-up play, right? Complement the team. And that's why I'm looking at it now. I'm like, well, I mean, Harry Kane right now apparently is going to sign a new deal, but he hasn't signed it yet, so who knows? But you look at Osimhen, it's a one that I've been hearing a lot. I've been hearing a lot of people talk about Osimhen. Now,
that's what the Barca fans really want, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Would you take an Osimhen? I would, because I think he's a good striker, though. He scores a lot.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I just think that he's a bit injury prone, and there's a bit of issues off the pitch as well that he does bring that we've seen, whether it's for the Nigerian national team or for Napoli and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You treat him like a king, he'll be a king, but as soon as he doesn't get treated like a king, he kind of, turns away. On Julian, I've always mentioned, I've been very consistent on this. I think he's a world-class player. I think he's definitely a Barca player level quality, but I personally wouldn't sign him up front unless it's, a good deal. Because I think he's not a striker. I think in the end he'll sign. We're going to get the people say, oh, play him on the 10, play him in the wing, sell for a minute and play Julian at the 10, blah, blah, blah. He's not an out number 9. He's a world-class player, definitely the level of Barcelona, without a shadow of a doubt. I just don't think he is the striker that we need. But you look at the market, if it's Julian Alvarez or nothing, what can you really do at this point, right? If we can get this deal for under 90 million as a transfer fee, right? So you offer Atletico 80 million plus Ferran Torres, 80 million plus Araujo and Omar talks football. If you get that kind of deal over the line for anything under the 90 million as a transfer fee, I think it's a good deal. But Atletico bought him for 90 million 3 seasons ago. He has a contract until 2029 as well. So getting him out of there is a mission. People, Barcelona keep breathing to the media. Oh, Barca believe we can get him for 80. Oh, Barca believe they can get him for 90 plus Ferran Torres or 75 plus Ferran. Remember what we talked about before on the last part of my channel. The club told us they will not spend more than 100 million euro all in on a strikers. That's transfer fee, bonus, sign-on fee, agent fees, variables. So 100 million is the budget. So if you want to spend 89 million of that plus Ferran Torres to try and get the deal over the line, I don't mind it. But I don't see Barcelona being able to afford in the end. Of course, Barcelona are really hoping that Julian Alvarez himself pushes the move internally. Of course, if Alvarez goes on strike, pushes the move, says I want Barcelona and nothing else, then that can help us. That's what João Laporta says all the time in his presidential campaign. When the player helps pushes for us, that's when we try even more, and then they will of course keep on trying as well, and that can maybe bring the deal into reality. So a lot of things need to be put into place. I wouldn't mind Osimhen. I just think there's a bit of issues behind the scenes, but apart from that, there's really no one else. But like I mentioned to my original point, if you have Lua and Julian as your strikers next season, then next season you're going to have to end up signing a striker as well. Maybe try and sign a Luke de Jong 2.0 or Paco Alcácer 2.0. But at the end of the day, we're going to have strikers
like Ayon, who's been...
Yeah. You also have like the Egyptian that you mentioned, Hamza Abdel Karimi, that we just signed for the BK as well. So you never know what's going to happen, right? But I just think like, oh, you're a sign striker now this summer. Like we're going to sign strikers all our lives. Like it's just annoying. But I wouldn't mind that. I think to be fair to the club, credit to them, Deco's starting to cook now with some financial freedom. I think the plan that we have for the defense, goalkeeper, and the attack is really good. I think midfield as well. They want to keep it. They want to sell Casado, sure, but that's really it. So I like the plan that we have, but it's going to be really hard. It's going to be harder than said and done to execute that plan.
Yeah. No, 100%. And that's the issue, isn't it? Because, ambition is great, but then again, bro, we have to live in reality as well and the kind of players we can go and get. That's why sometimes I want Barca to be smart in the transfer window, right? Like I look at like some of the players that we missed out on, and I'm like, well, we had players in the summer who we could have gotten for a good price if we were just smart. You understand what I mean, right? But who we didn't get, right? But at the end of the day, if I'm going to keep it 100, I just have to see, because Deco, he needs to show me. I still am not convinced with him. Like I've said it before, I'm not convinced. I need to see more, right? I get it. People can put all the caveats that they want. That he's a player. He's not had a lot of money to spend and all this stuff. Okay, cool, right? But at the end of the day, man, you're a sporting director. You get paid so that you can figure it out, figure other ways. You understand what I mean, right? To work with what you got. And I think that when it comes to him, that's what he needs to do, right? And we'll definitely see. And for me, but you know what's funny, right? We mentioned all of this, right? But we even mentioned like Ferran. For me, I'm gonna be real, bro. At this point, I feel like he's at the point of no return. He's at the point of no return, man. Like I feel like at this point, it's just like we've seen this now for years now. Dude, you've been doing this for years at this club, bro. Like, how many times are we gonna see you have a purple patch where you convince us, you make a lot of these Barca fans drink the Kool-Aid, right? You make us all drink the Kool-Aid, make us all believe that, oh yeah, this is the Ferran Torres is now finally, like a manager has finally unlocked them, only to go on like a 10-game winless goal scoring baron. And not only are you not scoring goals, brother, you are offering me nothing. Like, dude, I would do more in the number 9 in Barcelona right now than Ferran Torres. I'm sorry, bro. I would at least make the defenders, I would at least try to push the defenders away, right? Make them work by just my movement. My guy is just sitting there like a freaking lamppost, bro. The amount of times I'm watching the game, sometimes, right, I'm going to be honest with you, Hafe. I'm just sit down and I watch the Barca games. And even when Fernando is not on the ball, I'm just looking at the attack. I'm like, okay, I see Yamal. I see Yamal making movements, right? I see Yamal trying, he's been overmarked, like he's been really man-marked. And Rafinha, same thing. And I'm looking at Ferran Torres in the 9. And usually, he doesn't even have a man. He's literally, the defender is usually ahead of Ferran. And Ferran Torres is not like trying to like he's just standing there, like waiting. I'm like, brother, move. Make yourself noticeable in front of the defender. Show the defender you're making movement so the defender can keep his eye on you. I'm like, yo, I don't know, what is he doing? What is he doing? What is he doing? But you're just standing there. You're just standing there. And most of the time, when you do get the ball, your first touch, oh my God, his touch. Like, bro, this is what I mean about this dude. This is why this dude infuriates me so much. Even his touches, bro. My guy can't. Like, you know how many times I've seen Pedri, I've seen even Yamal cross the ball in the box, and the first touch, bro, the touch of a freaking donkey, bro. Like, I'm telling you, man, first touch and the ball is literally away from his feet. I'm like, brother, man, like, it's like when I tell people it's like playing with 10 men, this is what I mean. Because you're doing nothing. You're not controlling the ball. You're not pushing the defenders. You're not linking up well. You're not passing the ball to put it in the right areas, maybe for Yamal and Rafinha or Lewandowski to do something. Like, bro, how is Fermin Lopez doing more in attack than you? Like, come on, man. And I've had enough, man. At this point, I'm like, bro, Aston Villa and Unai Emery has been obsessed with this dude, bro. Sell him. I'm going to be real. I don't even care how much we sell him at this point, dude. Yeah. I'm at the point. I do not care anymore, bro. What's the point? What's the point? Seriously. Like, that's what I think, man. Like, he needs to go, man. He genuinely needs to go. But you will see, man. He says, what's the thoughts about Arsenal's loss? Will they sustain it for the Champions League? I mean, look.
If they get us, we're cooking them. I think
I'm gonna be real.
6-1 aggregate in Barcelona.
I agree, bro. I said this before the game against City. I told people, were like, Omar, you worried about Arsenal? I'm like, yeah, definitely. I'm worried about their set pieces because we are not good at set pieces. They will definitely cook us. But I'm telling you right now, I'm confident we can beat them. And we go, what? They're the best team in the league. This is the difference, bro. This is the difference. They have that fraud in the dugout. I've said this about Arsenal. I've said if Arsenal go and get Enrique, bro, I'm telling you, bro, they're winning the league first season. Bro, Enrique is winning the Premier League with Arsenal in his first season. First season, bro. He probably dominate, like he'll probably win it like on a counter, bro. I'm sorry, if Scott wins the league in his first season, bro, Enrique is doing it. This league is dead. Bro, look at what we did to these guys in the Champions League. Look at what Spain, I'm not even talking about just Barca. Spain, bro. Spain did to England during this Champions League, bro. Do you remember in November when we lost to Chelsea? Real Madrid lost to what's his name? They lost to I think Liverpool, and Arsenal beat Atleti. And everyone was just, and these Premier League frauds had the audacity to sit there and cook us, talk about our league is dead. The La Liga is dead. La Liga is not the same anymore. Brother, what are you guys saying? Barcelona alone put 7 past a Premier League team. The team that's currently sitting second and apparently only 9 points behind Arsenal, they lost 5-1, bro. They got cooked both home and away against a shit Madrid team. Like, respectfully, bro, this is not even a Madrid team. This is not the Madrid team that won the double 2 seasons ago. This is a dead Madrid team. And somehow, some way, you lose 5-1 against this Madrid team. This one. No Mbappe, no Bellingham, none of the players that actually turn up in the big moments. None of these guys. And you get cooked by them? Brother, you have some shame, bro. Have some freaking shame, bro. I mean, look, I don't want to make this obviously a Premier League stinker because we can have a more comment about that. But the point I'm making is, when it comes to Arsenal is the same. Arsenal's problem is that manager over there, bro. This is the problem. That dude is overrated. I'm sorry. I don't care, man. The guy spent over $1 billion, right? He's got a good squad. And dude, the amount of opportunities that this man has had to win the league. The amount of opportunities he's had, bro. I'm sorry, man. Because the Barca game is going to be high pressure. And man like Flick, he's a winner. He's won stuff. This guy, he doesn't have the facilities to win, bro. So guess what? I definitely see us beating them 100%, man.
Hope we get there. That's the main thing.
That's the thing, man. We have to go to Atleti and listen. The fact that Atleti, bro, we've never beat. Have we ever beaten Atleti in the Champions? I know we've never beaten them in it. Champions. That's actually
beat them. Not in my lifetime. I think we faced them twice and we lost both times.
You know what the worst thing is, bro? When I remember the fact that the last 2 times we played them in the Champions League, it was quarterfinals.
Both times, yeah.
Like, bro, the coincidence is ridiculous, right? Both of them were quarterfinals. Both of them we started with the home leg, and we didn't take advantage. And
no, the second one, I think the first one was at
the first one was at the Camp Nou. We won
in 2013.
Both of them.
One.
I watched both games. Both of the 2013, 14.
It was at the Vincent Calderon first
in our home stadium in the Camp Nou. We drew 1-1 when Diego scored that sick goal. Remember when Diego scored like that goal from like?
Yeah, I thought that was the goal that they scored in the second leg to secure.
No, that was the first. That was the first leg. It was 1-1.
Let's see.
And then second, no, the first leg was at home. We drew 1-1. We didn't take advantage. Then we went to the Calderon and we lost 1-0 the week later in the Calderon 1-0.
Let's see.
And that game was a 1-0, but seriously, it could have been more. But yeah, for me, and also like I mentioned, the season when we won the treble, when we were the treble winners. And then we went to when we play Atleti, we beat them 2-1, and then they beat us 2-0, Antoine Griezmann with a brace. So I'm looking at them like, bro, for God's sake, man. Like I'm like, let's just destroy them in the first game. That's all I want. None of this 2-1s, 1-0s. I don't care, bro. Don't give me no 1-0s, no 2-1s. None of this. 3-2. I don't care, bro. Give me a 2-0, 3-0, bro. That's what I want in the first game.
You're right, by the way.
Yeah, I know, bro. I remember these games like the back of my head. Like that game.
I remember the goal and everything. I just thought it was the other way around. I don't know why I thought it was the other way around.
But yeah. For me, I let you go game. I mean, listen, we're gonna talk about I let you go game when the game comes. But seriously, we need to destroy them in the first leg and finish the game off. But yeah, man. Listen, guys. Big up to every single one of you, man. Yeah, exactly, man. That's what we're looking for. Give us a big win, man. Appreciate every single one of you guys. Yo, big up to my guy, man. Listen, you literally joined when we were just about to close out. Appreciate every single one of you guys. Listen, guys, this was a freestyle, podcast. Obviously, when the international breaks, it's not like a lot of like things to talk about because obviously there's no weekend game. So we'll probably not do a Blaugrana podcast because you're going to Barcelona after the international break, right?
No, I'll be here for the first 2 games and then I go. So
okay, so we will have our fair for this. Listen, we will definitely have that part, one of the pods over there, man.
We'll see. There's even news that come out that's interesting, that's worth doing a pod. We'll definitely do a pod for sure.
Yeah. But listen, we'll get into it, man. I mean, listen, if some news does come out, maybe in a week or 2 during the international break that we will do a podcast on, we'll probably be back. Maybe because I think the next show will probably be on obviously Hafet's channel, right? So if any news does come out, because sometimes these news be coming out, man. Hopefully, it's no bad news, i.e. injuries. I'm telling you, bro, if we have an injury, bro, I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna find this brother's address in Spain, man. We're gonna have I'm gonna find his address. We're gonna have a conversation, man. But listen, guys, appreciate every single one of you guys, every single time, man. Listen, make sure you guys go and subscribe, obviously, to Barca Boy 103, guys. You guys already know. You guys see him here. Blaugrana Podcast is nothing without my guy Barca Boy, man. But listen, obviously, next show will be on his channel, man. So we will be doing, the return leg on Barca Boy 103's channel. But listen, guys, right now, guys, I'm gonna redirect you all to Jonas Barca React, man. I think he's doing his panel show, guys. Listen, guys, go put Omar Raid in the comment section below as usual. But listen, this has been the 25th. By the way, 25th episode of the Blaugrana Podcast. As always, big up to you guys. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. And yes, Vesca Barca, as always. Big up to you guys. Peace.